Some of you have already seen the video that you're about to watch. I apologize. There's nothing new. Some of you might be curious why the video was taken down. Well, it simply came down to the fact that the camera wasn't available and wasn't going to be available to purchase for a while. So Caddx contacted me. My apologies to Caddx. I didn't know there was any sort of timeline on this. And my apologies to those of you who watched and were wondering, where can I get this camera? So I took it down because they wanted me to, and it didn't make any sense because it wasn't available to purchase. I presumed when I looked that it would probably be coming out in the next few days. Turns out that's not necessarily the case. The only part of the video that has changed is the part you're watching now. So if you saw the previous video, you've pretty much already seen everything. And my question still stands about whether you want to see a comparison or not with the stock DJI camera. My apologies again. Let's get back to the original video.
Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at the Caddx Nebula Pro. Old Nebula, new Nebula. Original DJI Nebula Pro. What comes in the box? Just some screws. The camera already has the cable that we need, and it no longer does analog. With the cable, it weighs just a touch over 6.5 grams. The original DJI camera weighs just over 10 grams, and the old Nebula without a cable weighs just under 6 grams. The Nebula mounting distance is 19 millimeters. The original DJI is 20. The original DJI camera, all the way from the crown of the lens to the crown of the rear end, is just about 26 millimeters. And the Nebula Pro is only 20 millimeters. If we line up the mounting holes, you can see the distance difference from the mount to the front of the lens. And that does matter, because as you can see in my flight footage, I have got some of my canopy in view. I apologize for that. It was something that I saw was there, and I thought about just trimming a touch of it off in order to clear that up, but I also thought it serves as a reminder that there is a what I call a nose difference, the difference in how much the camera extends out. So if you have a carbon fiber-based mounting system for your stock DJI camera, it's something worth note that it's not as long, so you may end up with a little bit of carbon fiber. Or if you've got TPU, maybe it needs to be modified, shaved down, ground down, cut down, whatever down. Because I've got this mounted in a Vista system, I couldn't really do my traditional camera light test. So I went over, and once I kind of got coordinated with this tree, just kind of due to a little sway back and forth behind the tree, kind of a real world light test. And this is something I think right away that you guys will want to grade out. You know, to some people, this won't matter that much. They'll just want the DJI camera. They're not going to care about the grams all that much. But to others, they're going to care about that weight. I think weight is important depending upon what your flight desires are. I should mention that this is a DVR recording because, again, it is Vista. I don't have a working air unit anymore, and it is running on the 50 megabits, and it has focus mode off. So you should see, I think that's what I was recommended last time. I did the 04 kind of a disservice. I actually went out and refilmed this after looking through my footage because I didn't, when I did the 04 from Avant Quads, I did not notice that I did not have the 50 megabits on. I just didn't notice, and then I did all my flying with it that way. And then when I posted the video, several of you noted that, and that's my mistake. Just something I need to do better at, but I appreciate the reminders, and I'll try to make sure I do a better job of keeping that 50 megabit on when we've got these DJI-based systems. At any rate, we're going to fly around the neighborhood. We don't hardly get to see the shadow, unfortunately. The sun is getting so low this time of year that it's hard to get my shadow in view, and I didn't get any really good straight lines. Notice my neighbors down the road there a bit. They're watering their lawn. That's how nice it was. Not that I would be watering their lawn. I was kind of surprised their sprinkler system was still charged. It's pretty late in the year to have that still charged. Maybe they've got a system that doesn't have to be blown out every year. Ours, it has to be blown out, because if you leave it and then you get a bitter frost freeze, the tubing that's in the ground can possibly freeze, and then you've got a big problem. Or maybe even worse, you get a water leak that destroys your backflow, because that's required now. I mentioned it already, but if you were wondering about what I'm flying, this is a 4-inch. Kind of in the micro long range, but I see it as a much more durable 4-inch freestyle and long range capable quad. It's Avant Quads 04, that's CIRO4LR. I just posted this review a couple of days ago, maybe it was only 2 days ago. With my new faster computer, I can really pump out some videos. It doesn't take me 4, 5, 6 hours to render a video. It takes like 10 minutes. I'm actually living in current times again. Thank you again, Mr. Matt S. Did a little cruise up there like a balloon, just kind of spin around a little bit, give you some of that scenic shot. Really nice day, you know, hardly a cloud in the sky, full sun. Great day to be outside. I think it was about 54 degrees. I think tomorrow was supposed to be almost 60. So I took the day off. I am going to do some flying before I take my son to an appointment out of town. So that should be a good time. Hopefully the weather perks up right away, because I think we need to leave town about 12 o'clock. But that's a pretty good sample of flight footage. I didn't do a comparison. I only have one set of goggles. I could go out and with two different quads try to fly the same flight pattern, you know, within 5 or 10 minutes of each other. If that's something that you want me to do, please let me know. I'll leave a pinned comment, the first comment down in the comment section. You can simply thumbs up that comment stating that you want to see a comparison between the Nebula Pro and the stock DJI camera. I'll fly a different quad and I'll try to do the same flight path. It's not going to be very in sync. It just won't. I've tried that before, and it just doesn't work out. So keep that in mind, that whatever I put together, it's not going to be a side-by-side, perfect frame-for-frame sort of comparison. It's going to be kind of a generic or general comparison. Let's move on. I did some flying at dusk. Okay, here we go. So you can see the Christmas lights are now on, and I'm going to pop up here a little later and look at the sun just to give you some idea of what time it is. It's shortly after 5, and I think during the 3 or so minutes I was out here flying, it got substantially darker. But you tell me. You can always pop back to this first part of the flight when we get to the end of it, and then you can kind of say, yeah, it did get darker. It's this time of year where when the sun goes down, it seems to want to go down in a hurry. I don't think you would call this the golden hour. I think it's well beyond the golden hour. Here we go. We're finally getting up to the sun, and we're going to take a look at that I guess you'd call it a sun line. The sun's not really up. It's kind of down over the edge. But we can still see pretty well. You can still see some of that scraggle that I got fairly close to there. Make things out just fine. It appears to the naked eye much darker than it appears in the camera. That's one thing I can say about this. I have actually not flown the stock DJI camera in this sort of same lighting conditions. I just haven't. I don't know, it just hasn't been a point of mine. So if you have, I would sure be interested to know what you think of this compared to the stock DJI camera. And for all I know, this could be the stock DJI internals, just in a different case. That could be the weight savings. I would say that the lenses look different, but I really can't tell a difference. I would presume there's got to be some other difference inside, but until we do a teardown, which is not really something that I do on this channel, but we could possibly do a teardown and take a look at these things to see what they look like underneath. It's hard to tell whether it's just a different case or if it's a different camera. Hopefully you guys have seen enough DJI-based footage that maybe you can eye some things that might be of difference. I think it's a pretty good amount of that dusk footage. I did try it at nighttime as well. Our nighttime footage here. This is just going to be walking away, and if you're wondering why or how I recorded this, took the props off, turned off air mode, turned on motor stop, then I could arm the quad, I could get the Vista unit to record, and then I could just kind of hand walk it around. So it is going to have some bobbles as this is in my hand. It's not on a gimbal or anything like that. There's no information posted on the CaddxFPV.com website. All I have is what has been reported to me, is that it's a 720p, 120 frames per second, and it can support both 4.3 and 16:9. I have some 4.3 footage that I can show you. It's in 25 megabits, though. I didn't decide to go back and do that because I think if you're flying these, I could be wrong. I know if you're racing these things, you probably want 4.3, and if you're more, just out having fun, maybe 16:9. But the 16:9 should give you the best possible ability to grade the image. They don't talk about anything else on there, just kind of a replacement camera with lower weight, and I don't know the price. When it becomes available, I'll sure link it down in the video description, but as far as knowing anything additionally about this, I can only show it to you and tell you what I've been told. Some of you might notice my Christmas lights. Yeah, I cheat. I mentioned this in a video not that long ago. One of the lights isn't working or not set up quite the way I want it, though. We've got the snowflakes going around, and then we got the laser green and red dots. Whenever that gets power cycled by the timer, it ends up just coming back to the default, which is red, and then you have to hit these buttons on the back of it to make it green, and then to make it move, we have to hit another button. So that's why the lights aren't fun right now. They're just kind of boring. That's it. That's all I have to show you. I think I covered all the things I thought to cover. I will have that pinned comment the very first comment in the comment section that will say something to the nature of, do you want to see a flight comparison? It will be not a one-to-one frame to frame, but it'll be kind of a generic sort of flight. I'll try to fly the same path. We'll see what happens. But if you have any other comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in the section down below. I appreciate your time, and thank you for watching.